on the violence going on is unacceptable in the country. Completely unacceptable. It's been going on for too long. It must come to an end. Citizens are hurting. We, who call ourselves leaders, whatever role we are playing, whatever responsibilities we carry, must exercise our responsibilities, must carry out our duties for which we sought public office, including us seeking public office, to end violence. Yesterday, at the last organized public forum on Bill 10, the nation was made to see, to view publicly horrible behavior, draconian and completely animal-like behavior, where the session was going on at a hotel, Intercontinental Hotel, a hotel of international repute. And PF thugs walked in there to disrupt that debate in public view of the nation. Chaos was occasioned yesterday. People were injured yesterday. Before the thugs walked in the hall, as many of us were watching the program, they attacked people who were outside or those who were leaving the hall. Law and order has completely broken down. I could see the young moderator trying to calm the situation down. And I knew she did not understand the behavior of these thugs. Once those thugs arrive at a scene, you cannot bring order anymore. And Tutu Ngulube afterwards claimed that he knows those thugs. They are from Mazabuka, he said. They are from Siavonga. They are from Southern Province. You can't be that callous and take serious matters in a joking manner like that. Those thugs are PF thugs from Intercity. They are known. Instead of taking responsibility for that horrible action, Tutu Ngulube blames his usual suspects in UPND and brings in even an ethnic smell to it. It's unacceptable. I asked colleagues in PF to grow up and take responsibility for their damaging actions to this country. Most of you are aware that following that incident, in the night, into this morning, PF members were exchanging voice notes condemning what their own members did. Yet one Tutu Ngulube, a parliamentarian, tried to distort the facts. We must all act together to bring violence to an end. Too many people have been maimed. Too many people have died. We can't expect more Lawrence Banders to go down and the killers remain at large. We cannot expect more citizens being attacked as what happened in Chilubi. And yet we pretend that there's nothing wrong that happened in Chilubi. There was an election. That was not an election. That was like a war zone. And known people orchestrated violence in Chilubi. Known people. And the police have not arrested them. What's going on? If you watched yesterday, there were some policemen inside there. And they were helpless. It means the PF members, thugs, are operating above the law. The law recognizes equality before the law. This is a failure of leadership. You can't call it anything else. This is a failure of leadership. And when we complain, arrest HH, arrest UPND. If you take public office, it comes with the territory. You have to protect the lives of citizens. And we can only demand that, and nothing else. Number two, which is actually maybe the most important issue, the gassing of citizens in our communities across the country. Citizens are having sleepless nights. They are being gassed across the country. And again, one PF member tried to create a story that suggests or insinuates that the gassing is only happening in certain regions and not others. The gassing is all over the country, everywhere in the country. In all the 10 provinces, gassing has taken place. It's gone on for too long. And we appealed to those in leadership to protect citizens so that they can go to bed and sleep. They can protect children who are going to school. A couple of schools have been gassed. But the question is that, who is going to end this gassing? How is it possible that gassing takes place when the police are out there? Which group can continue committing heinous crimes like this in the presence or neighborhood of the police? It is clear to me that there's a strong possibility that the state is involved in this situation, in this crime. Because there's no way the state can fail to bring this crime, to bring it down. There's no way. Which individual knows that the army is near and you continue committing this crime? Where are the people being caught? We want to hear those who are in court, who are caught to be in court. We want to hear them in court. What are they saying? What is motivating them? Why is this thing not coming to an end? And now, those of us who are talking against this crime become victims. We are accused of being involved. How can people seeking public office like us, who want to take over a country through a democratic process, want to take over a country in chaos? The country is already in chaos in terms of the economy which has collapsed, in terms of too much debt. That's enough chaos. We in the UPND want to make it very clear that we have nothing to do with this gassing. We've heard what some of the senior members are saying. We've challenged them that let them tell the police the truth, not lies. We do not want someone going to police telling lies to target political competitors, to eliminate political competitors. This is what PF is trying to do now, using the gassing criminality to allege that it's the opposition is involved. We're not involved. We are victims. We represent the community. We are victims of this gassing. That's why we're talking about it. And we don't want the PF to keep arresting, detaining people who are talking against gassing. They arrested Bishop Kajira in Chingolo for talking against gassing. Now we've heard the threats being made. We are zeroing in. It's the opposition. Inonge Wina, at her age, old as she is, she's in parliament. She's addressing parliament. A question is asked of her, what's going on in gassing? She says, there's a political head to it. How can a vice president talk that language? A language where she's pointing a finger at innocent people. We have not forgotten that she's the same vice president when City Market was banned. Within an hour or two, she went to State Market and said, we know who has burnt the market.
Sure.
And UPND members were arrested, innocent members, as a scapegoat for the failure of government to protect citizens. A lady UPND member was arrested, tortured, detained beyond the constitutional limit of 48 hours, never taken to court. And I want to announce to the nation that because of that trauma, because of that torture, that innocent member who lived in Garden passed away a few months ago out of the torture for a crime she did not commit. And today, the PF are busy making noise, threatening those of us in opposition. Yet we are talking against this gassing of citizens. We want it to end. By talking about it, by feeling for the people of Zambia, they turn their arsenals on us and start accusing us of being responsible. PF, grow up. Take responsibility. You took public office to protect citizens, to use state resources to save lives, not to destroy lives. In the process, we know that the mob is reacting that way, communities are reacting in a violent way because they don't see any protection. And along the way, some innocent citizens would have been killed, suspected of being the people gassing. We don't want the gassing to continue. Neither do we want to see innocent people being killed. That's why we insist on a professional job being done, not pointing fingers at wrong people. All of us are victims of this gassing. I cannot avoid to speculate that this state orchestrated program, as I said, is meant, one, to eliminate political opponents like ourselves, so that they can have a free ride in 2021. They're feeling the pressure. The economy has collapsed. They saw a seed of tribalism, talking about tribalism, dividing our people who are already united in marriage, in church, in song, in workplaces, in business. We cherish our unity as a people, and PF should not be allowed to use this gassing issue to divide our people and to start arresting innocent people. Do a professional job. No one will be worried about any issue if you did not commit a crime. We're not worried about this. We did not commit a crime. We are worried only for the people, the suffering people. Those being gassed, those being killed, those who are innocent. I want to appeal to the community. Don't kill the suspects. Arrest them. Take them to the police so that we can adduce evidence. I cannot think in any other way than saying we have not forgotten how a government before in our country concocted the Black Mamba issue and arrested innocent people, detained innocent people for months on end. Those detained included the first president, President Govt, until the late former president of Tanzania, Mwalimu Nyerere, came to get him out of prison. But the old man Kaunda was detained for a crime he did not commit. I cannot forget to remember how the zero option scheme was orchestrated by the state to target political opponents. I see the gassing issue is one that fits in those shoes of Black Mamba and Zero Option. Yes. That's what I see. That's the only logical conclusion. I want to challenge the PF that bring an independent professional group to carry out an investigation behind the gassing. Yes. So that you do not hide behind gassing to arrest innocent people, victims, to kill people, innocent people, and for the community to continue suffering, running away from those who are gassing people. Bring Scotland Yard here. Yeah. And all of us citizens must cooperate with the Scotland Yard. An impartial, an independent, a professional body. After all, we are members of the Commonwealth. Yes. Scotland Yard from the UK is part of the Commonwealth. And that's why it should be brought in, because when a party in office, a government is using government machinery to orchestrate things like this, to punish political opponents, there must be an arbiter. And that arbiter in this case is the Scotland Yard. We propose anyone independent, anybody that's professional, that's not polluted by the hatred that we see from the PM, is welcome. We shall be approaching the British High Commission to formally express our view for them to help the suffering citizens on this matter. Citizens already are stressed. We don't want them to stress even more, because they are on their last string, they are on their last energy. They've been drained by poverty, they've been drained by unemployment, they've been drained by lack of cash in the economy. There's no liquidity. Marketeers are suffering, taxi drivers are suffering, bus drivers are suffering, everybody's suffering. The youth are suffering, and now they are given another burden by their own state. I want to assure the PF that we are ready to cooperate with you in the interest of the people of Zambia, yes, to end gassing. We want to cooperate with any professional law enforcement body that should cooperate or work with the Scotland Yard. And this must happen like yesterday. The men and women in uniform act for the people of Zambia. Do not carry out unlawful instructions. Carry out lawful instructions because that's what citizens pay you a salary for. Don't carry out instructions from any one of us as citizens to fix other people who are innocent. Carry out instructions to fix the problem. The problem is gassing, the problem is violence, the problem is people dying who may be innocent. Let's bring this thing to an end. Let's bring back order in our communities. Let's give citizens time to trade in markets, to trade in business areas, to generate income to feed their children. They can't do that now. This carnage must end like yesterday. The country is burdened. We are and we will be part of the solution. Stop, PF, stop threatening innocent citizens. Yesterday news went out that Hakainde Hichilema ran away into South Africa and used a small border post through Limpopo, a province, the northern province of South Africa. And I was reading that news in my house. So I asked my wife, I said, have you seen this news? She said, no. I said, read this. She reads it. She looks at me. She said, are you saying I'm sitting with a ghost? You are a ghost. The real one is in South Africa. I said, this is what PF does. To concoct issues, to create stories that are digressional because we caught PF with their pants down on tribal talk in Chirubi, on violence in Chirubi, on the killings orchestrated by them. Too many people have died, as I said. We've caught them on the declining economy. They now know that the citizens have accepted that UPND and its message is resonating with the public across the country. Then they create this gassing issue. They create an issue that, I'm saying they created it because if they didn't, it should take only a week to end it. If they didn't create it, they are betting it to digress the attention of Zambians away from the issues so that Zambians start hating each other. Yet we are all hurt already by what's going on. I want to ask the people of Zambia, addressing the people of Zambia now, let us unite against this gassing. Let us protect each other from the gassing, but let's not kill each other. Because we'll be playing in the hands of those who are orchestrating these killings and these gassings. Let us be each other's neighbor's keeper. Let's report any criminal activity to the police. Let us hold hands. The nation is bleeding. It's been bleeding for too long. The nation is looking for direction. And we want to say we stand with the people of Zambia. We are here. I'm not in South Africa. I'm here. The person talking here is a real HH. We don't believe in those ghosts that the PF believe in. I'm real, I'm here. How can a policeman, a commissioner of police, say that people turn into cats? How can people, human beings, turn into cats? Now, if the police are so scared of the people gassing because the cat may bite them, how can they stop the crime? I expected the condemnation of that from the PF. I didn't hear it. And we're entertaining stories of people going through small holes. It's not possible scientifically. The human body mass cannot go through a hole that a cat goes through. And if the police are failing to provide strength and leadership to the community, I shouldn't say the police, a small number, because most policemen know what is going on. I want to thank my colleagues who made some reports to the police of those that are indicating that they know something about gassing. If they've known something, why didn't they go to the police to report? So that people will have been saved from all this trouble of gassing.
Yes.
Why didn't they report to the police? If they're saying they knew 5 years ago, they are concealing crime. But the truth is that they know nothing. They are blowing hot air to create hatred in the community so that certain citizens are hated. And I know I'm one of the targets. I know that. But I want to say to the people of Zambia, we are here to save you and to save you better. When we take office, I want to assure you, within the first 10 days of taking office, there will be law and order. You will feel safe in your house. You will feel safe at the bus stop. You will feel safe at the hospital. You will feel safe as a school-going child in a classroom. As a teacher, you will feel safe. Law and order. Rule of law. Respecting human rights, liberties, and freedoms will be our hallmark. Reuniting this country will be our duty. They are threatening to arrest HH. Everybody says HH will be arrested. What have I done to be arrested? What crime have I committed? I have not forgotten, Zambians have not forgotten how I was detained on a trumped-up treason charge in Mongo. In a fleet of 40 vehicles, which were overtaken in the same way. And I was not a driver. I was arrested for treason. I was put away for 127 days. I was tortured. I've never talked about this to the public. I was tortured. In July, I was put in a cell where the PF went and the system, the regime went and spread fresh feces on the floor and on the walls of that cell. And I endured that for 8 days, sitting in human fecal matter. No toilet in there, no water. I was made to use a small tin like that as a toilet. And you know what I mean? It wasn't possible to use that tin. That's the humiliation that I went through. I've not talked about it. No lights. My wife was only allowed to bring every day little quantities of water and food just to keep me alive. Now they want to do the same. That's what they're scheming. They want to do the same for committing no crime, for talking against gassing. How much more hatred are you going to push against a fellow citizen who is only seeking leadership to liberate the people from poverty and hunger? A citizen who warned you about not borrowing too much money, and you went ahead and borrowed, where are we today? 40% of our revenue goes to service the debt. Didn't we warn you about it? We warned you about it. Did you listen to us? You didn't. A citizen who warned you about hunger, and when I started distributing minimum, Lusambo called me a cockroach and said, tell HH to go and feed his Tonga cows that minimum. Calling fellow citizens cows. He didn't mean cows, he meant citizens of Zambia. And today they're distributing minimum without accepting that there's hunger. We warned them. What crime have we committed? What crime are the children, pupils being shot at and killed, innocent children? Yet the PF would have ended this gassing crime if they did it professionally, and they did not abet it. I'm aware that as I'm speaking here, they are positioning to arrest me. For what crime? Arrest the people gassing, citizens. I want to ask the people of Zambia to remain strong. That regimes like this behave this way in their last days. They behave this way. Frightening people, targeting wrong individuals. I can tell you 2 key things that PF want to do out of this gassing issue. One, I repeat, to eliminate political opponents. Number 2, to start an ethnic genocide in this country. That's what they want to do. And then blame it on someone, on some people who are innocent. God of Abraham, God of Isaac, God of Jacob is there, is watching what this evil is all about. You tell people the right thing, you become an enemy. We have not forgotten how citizens have suffered under the PF. We have not forgotten. Innocent citizens. Joseph was sold by his own brothers. They called him names, accused him of things he was not. Sold him into slavery. Years later, remember 7 years of plenty, 7 years of hunger. The very brothers who sold him needed food and went to look for food. They found Joseph was in charge. He looked at them. He remembered them. They didn't remember him. He went behind and wept and returned and sold them the food and even gave them more on top of what they paid. He knew these are evil people, but he understood that that was a role God was performing to allow him to save them. We are not Josephs, but we are telling a story of how an innocent person or persons can be persecuted for a crime they did not commit. God works in his own ways. God is superintending over this country. He's watching. But God needs to be assisted by us Zambians. Be strong, people of Zambia. Be truthful to yourselves and to each other. Do what is right for the people of Zambia. Don't allow evil to take over this country. Too much evil. But I think right is mighty. We shall overcome. This is a temporal issue. We will be back on the road, dealing with your hunger, dealing with your education, dealing with your concerns. I've just been reminded that I think the police have withdrawn from some of the areas and they've been replaced by militias wielding pangas. Militias. Most of you have forgotten that in 2012, I was arrested for talking about militias. Seeing ahead of what is coming is one of the crimes I've committed. Warning citizens that this is coming. I got arrested, I got detained, and I was in court for 1 year. These militias we talked about in 2012, 2013, they are now fully blown. These are the militias now wielding pangas in Mtendere. And under the circumstances, they can attack any house and accuse that house of crimes that they don't even know about. And you can see these militias are meant to be a build-up towards 2021 to create chaos in our country. We should not allow that to happen. We need to bring back order in our country. I want to assure the people of Zambia that we care for you. We love you. We know you've suffered enough, but better days are around the corner. Freedom is around the corner. And I mean true freedom is around the corner. But that will only happen if we join hands. Let's work in unity of purpose. Let's not allow ourselves to be divided. Let's not allow hatred to take root in our country. Once we sow that seed of hatred, I can tell you we will reap genocide the way Rwanda experienced it. The way the Germans were exterminated for a crime they did not commit. That's what I see myself ahead. But we can stop it as citizens by working together. Ethnicity should not be an issue we talk about every day. When you see people talking about ethnicity every day, you know they are incompetent. You know they are afraid of those who are competent. And they are hiding behind ethnicity. If you are a pupil, you are asked a question in class, why do people talk ethnicity? Your answer must be, when they are incompetent, when they fear competition, then they talk ethnicity. To invoke emotions of people. God put us together in a country called Zambia for a purpose. He chose different groups and made them Zambians, speaking different languages as an asset. Not as a negative, but as an asset. Different value systems put together makes a country which is better. A Zambia which will outperform. I want to say to you, the people of Zambia, when we take office, God's will, courtesy of the people of Zambia, we will outperform the PF government in all respects. We will reunite this country. One of my personal agendas, having been persecuted the most, having been brutalized the most, having been arrested the most for seeking public office to save the people as the only crime I committed, I know the pain. And we pledge to the people of Zambia, we will occupy a higher ground. We will end this nonsense of persecution. Yeah. We will end this nonsense of segregation. Yeah. We will end this nonsense of having a cabinet that excludes certain Zambians, will bring inclusiveness. God help Zambia. God help the people of Zambia. Thank you very much.
Thank you.